Hello and welcome to Reading 0302 in Blackboard. When you first log into your course, you will see your home page and it has any announcements that you need to know about for the course. Then you'll need to click on the syllabus and the calendar. That's an important tab. It has my contact information there, and the syllabus has all of your course breakdown information, and then the course calendar would have your course due dates and everything there. The orientation, of course you're watching the orientation video right now. In step 1, it will give you information about the course. For the fall and spring semesters, we do have a face-to-face orientation that you will need to attend, so you'll find that information there. Then you'll read the syllabus. There's another step about discussions, and there's a small video within discussions. If you've never posted a discussion, you'll be able to find that information there. And then how to start Unit 1, and then you'll need to take an orientation quiz when you're done with all of those steps. And it's just a quick 10-question quiz, and that counts as your participation for that week. So it is a required quiz, and you do need to do that the first week of class. Then you'll go over to unit homework once you are done with the orientation, and there are 4 units for this course. You'll start with Unit 1. Unit 1 covers 3 different learning objectives. You'll start out by taking the Unit 1 pretest. That grade will not show up in the grade book, so just be prepared. You might see a check mark, but the grade for the pretest does not average into the course grade book. It's just to let you know where you're at with these objectives. Then you will go to the first learning objective, which is active reading. And you will see in that you've got several objectives for active reading. You need to read the chapter that's in the textbook assignment. Then you will need to do the reading supplement folder that has PowerPoint presentations and all kinds of other notes and information about that topic. Once you finish that, you will need to click on this down here, active reading assignment. Now for each objective in each unit, there is a required assignment. This is not optional, so you need to finish this. You can retake it several times. If you don't like your score, it's only worth 10 points, but there's 10 different ones throughout the course, so it adds up to 100 points. So if you don't make as high as you'd like to the first time, you can keep retaking it until your score is where you want it to be on that. If you want to go back to Unit 1, you can easily go back to Unit 1 by clicking up there. So go through each one of those objectives. Then there is a discussion for each unit and a post-test. Now the discussions are worth 25 points each. Actually, they're 20 points each because there's an orientation introduction discussion. It's called a coffee house introduction that you'll need to post. But this will take you to the discussion area for discussion 1. And then you'll need to complete the post-test for Unit 1. There's also a My Reading Labs component for this course. And in Unit 1 is where you'll really get registered and get to know the My Reading Labs aspect of the course. When you click that tab, it gives you some information about My Reading Labs. You will have to register for the e-text, and all of that information is in the syllabus as well. But when you register, the e-text will give you access to the My Labs also. But what it will look like is when you click on this website, you'll see this home page, and then you'll create a username and a password. And if you haven't set that up yet, I'll click out of that and go back. You'll need to go to this page, that first link. If you haven't set up your labs yet, you first have to register for the labs, and it will take you to a website that looks like this. You have to click I accept, and then you have to start entering in all of your information. Now, if you have an access code, like if you bought a textbook at the bookstore, then it might have a My Reading Labs access code on the back. That's where you would enter that in. But if you don't have an access code, you would buy the ebook on the computer and maybe use a credit card to pay for that over the internet and have access to that. The last time I looked, the Pearson ebook with the My Reading Labs was $44. So you would go through all the steps and register, and then go back to that labs folder once you register and go to the actual login page. I will show you what it looks like with my information so that you can see what the My Reading Labs will look like once you log in. And I also have lots of information under Student Resources about technical support issues with My Reading Labs and where to go for help if you are having problems getting logged in and registered for the course. It's very important that when you register you have the course ID, and that's in the registration information that I posted in that My Reading Labs folder. You have to enter in the course ID and click Join the Course to be in the course that we have. The first thing you'll need to do once you get into the course is take the Path Builder pre-reading assessment and then the Lexile reading assessment that's usually right here. I've already done that here so that you can see what it looks like. See, it's called a Lexile locator test. So normally you would take that first. And then you have all these different reading passages to choose from. You would read one of those. Just pick the one that you're interested in. Answer questions over that passage, reading comprehension questions. And then once you're done answering those questions, that counts as a lab. Another thing that counts as a lab in this course is going to reading skills. You'll go to reading skills, and for example in Unit 1 you have active reading. Well, you would need to click on that and do a practice exercise in active reading. Also in Unit 1 is vocabulary, so you would need to do one in vocabulary as well for Unit 1. Then the next one in Unit 1, you'll have to scroll down a little bit and go to reading textbooks. That's also part of Unit 1. So you'll do 3 different labs in reading skills, and then about 4 labs in the reading level where you pick a passage and you answer questions on it. It's important that you do both parts to get the full effect of this My Reading Labs for your course. You are required to do 30 My Reading Labs for the course over the whole semester. So just keep that in mind as you work in your units. I do have kind of a reminder in each unit to remind you to do those labs. Then you can go back to Unit 1. So within Unit 1, the basic things you need to do is the pre-test, go over the learning objectives, the labs, there's 7 labs for that unit, Unit 1 discussion, and the Unit 1 post-test. Once you complete all of those, you can go back to the unit homework and proceed to Unit 2. Now, if you want to just go straight to the discussion board without going through the units, you can just click over here on discussions. And you'll see right at the top, there's the coffee house introduction. That's just for everyone in the class to get to know each other, but it is a required part of the course. It's worth 20 points. And then each of these discussions is worth 20 points, which adds up to 100 points of your course grade. In each one of these discussions, you need to have an initial post about that topic, and then you need, see, I have directions as the first post, so you'll need to read that. But you'll have to have an initial post of 250 words, and then you'll need to reply with at least 75 words reply length to 2 other students. So you have to have 3 posts in each discussion area to get full credit. So please keep that in mind throughout the semester as well. Now within each unit you'll have reminders about the discussions too, but once you finish all the units, all 4 units, you'll have the final exam available, and you'll be able to click on the final exam and take that online. All of the course is online. Student Resources is an important tab for you to click on. It has lots of information about the My Reading Labs. It also has free downloads for you. There's the course ID for the My Reading Labs. That's very important while you're registering for the labs. You have to click Join a Class and enter in the course ID. There's also a YouTube video about how to register for the labs if you're still confused about that. And then if you scroll down, there's more information, and most importantly, there's an 800 number for you to contact technical support for My Labs if you still are having trouble after looking at all of that information. Now, in Student Resources, another important aspect is the free downloads. Now, all students use various types of computers, and you might have different types of software. To be able to view everything within an online course, you really need this PowerPoint viewer and this Adobe Flash player, and they're free. You just have to click on them and follow the steps to download. And then there's a Open Office to view Microsoft Word documents, and there's Windows Media Player, Adobe Reader, all very important files for this course that you should download to any computer that you might use for the course. And then there's several other tabs that you should go through during your orientation week just to get familiar with all the resources that are available to you as an online student using Blackboard. Then down here you can click on My Grades, and you'll be able to see, like, if you do your Unit 1 post-test, and you'll be able to see your grade right away as soon as you finish it under My Grades. And you do have 2 attempts on those post-tests, so keep that in mind. But the questions are randomized, and you will not get the same questions each time, so please keep that in mind as well. But every time you log into the course, it's important that you go to the announcements page, and regular online attendance helps to be more successful in an online class. You need to log in at least once a week, hopefully twice a week, so that you can get all of your assignments done and turned in on time. Thank you for taking the course, and I look forward to seeing you guys at the orientation on the campus for fall or spring.